Hey residents of Meepletown, it is springtime here in Bloomtown and we are building up our city to see who can be the best mayor in Bloomtown.
Mayor?
I think
What's it? Like a horse?
Not mayor, mayoror.
Mayor?
Mayor.
Mayor.
Like, I'm the mayor of Bloomtown. Let's get to the table and check
Kind of
out...
like the way I'm the mayor of Meepletown?
That's not true. Let's get to the table and check out Bloomtown.
Alright, so this is what Bloomtown looks like when it's set up and it's ready to roll. This is a really simple game mechanically. So what we're going to be doing over the course of this game is we're actually going to be taking, we both start off with two tiles, and I don't want Dean to see what my tiles are.
Too late, already saw them.
Darn it! And we're going to be placing a tile onto this board. When we do so, we're going to be taking the tile from down here that it corresponds to that symbol. And that's most of the game. And we're going to be scoring points every time we lay a tile down on the board. We'll be scoring the tile that we lay down. And then additionally, there are going to be some rescoring that's going to happen up here over the course of the game. Potentially, we're going to be rescoring all of these. Potentially not. It depends on what tiles show up here. And when we get two of one of these tiles, they are going to be rescored. And there's only a potential for them to be rescored once each. So that's kind of it. Let's kind of dive in. Let's go for it. We also have this tile that we can use once over the course of the game to do a few things. There's some bonus actions that will take place whenever we get to these, but let's just talk about them when we get there.
All right, we're just jumping right in.
All right, hey, who's going first? Let's just flip for it for fun.
Oh,
you want this side?
I always go first.
You get that side. I go first.
Cheater.
Heyo.
Right. You're good.
All right, so I have a couple tiles here. Dang, you can see it on the screen.
You can literally see into the camera.
Darn it. Okay, so, whoops-a-daisy. All right, I'm going to place this office building right in the smack dab middle of my board. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I'm going for it.
It's not.
So whenever I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to score, first of all, that. And to start off the game, office buildings you're only going to score one because I have one. But the way they're going to score is I'm going to score for the office building I laid, then any office that's in the row or column. That's why I put it in the smack dab middle of the board. We'll see what happens. So I get my one bloom point. Then I am going to take the leaf. So that would be another office building, which is good for me. But then, since I placed it on this green space, I have a couple options. I could either have doubled the score of that, which... double one is not good for me. So I can do that, or I can take another turn. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take yet another turn. I'm going to place this right here. And now that's going to score me 2 points because I've got one here and one in that row. So I'll get 2 bloom points there. And then I'm going to go right here and take that office. Now this doesn't get flipped over until after my turn is complete. So that's why I didn't do that. So anywho, yeah. Good opening hand, I think.
It's quite the turn. All right, now we're going to flip these over.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Let's see if
park.
Your luck turns.
And another office building for you.
How about that? There's one right there, too.
All right, well, I think what I'm going to do is start off by placing over here. I'm going to place a park, which just gives me, one park just gives me 1 bloom point. And I did the same thing as John, so I get to take a, first I'm going to take my tile, which is... this one.
Unless you want to double that park to get 2 bloom points to start off.
That'd be pretty nice. And I would like to be able to get that park right there, but I have some other strategy in mind. So I think what I'm going to do is place this subway right here on that symbol, and that's going to give me this subway tile instead of going that way. That way, now I've got 2 subway tiles. I get a bloom point. Just 1 bloom point for that, and that's my turn. Quick turns, for sure.
And so, Dean may be looking at this thing thinking that subways may rescore at some point, so he's at least got that out. He's 1 step closer there. Right, Deanie?
That is correct, Johnny.
All right, so here's my predicament is I'd love this office tile. Oh, I've got one here that showed up. Never mind. That's the challenges in this game. If this wasn't here, then I could go here, but then I would only get 1 point. I'm going to keep the office thing a-rolling. And I'm going to put it right here, which scores me now 3 points. And I will take that, and that is the end of my turn. Man, you got a lot of parks.
That's actually what I was hoping for.
Parks and Rec going out. Didn't your wife work for the Parks and Rec department?
She did. Not the show, but Parks
and
amazing. Recreation. All right, so I'm going to put this here. This changed my mind a little bit of what I was going to do. I'm going to put this here, which is going to give me 2 bloom points because I've got these diagonal from each other.
Subway score diagonal.
That's right. And I would have liked to place it up here to take an extra turn, but I really wanted to get this park. So I'm just going to snag that right there, and that'll be my turn.
Alrighty. Ooh, so I see this Subway here, and I'm totes taking it because I've seen people run away with this game with getting a lot of Subways.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I'm going to place this, which is really great for me, here. And you know what? Hold on. You know, I messed up the last scoring, Dean. I will tell Mapletown that because I placed a tile here. And I start to think of connections. This is what always happens with the office buildings. There's actually I only score 2 points because that is not in the same row. So I'm going to go ahead and give back one of my balloon points.
And what he means, had he placed this tile right here, that would have been 3 points.
That would have triggered 3. But because I placed it here, I was supposed to look at my column, which has 2, which is good, and my row. But the offices get confusing with that a little bit. So I should have, if I was thinking strategically, maybe I should have waited on that space. But anyways, let's see. So now I want to place. Well, now I want to place this right here so that I could score those 3. But I can score 3 this way as well.
That's right.
So I'm going to do just that. In the column, I have 3. I don't have any in the row, so I will take 3 there, and I will take this to just keep it away from Dean. Oh, and another office building.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to keep letting John run away with these office buildings, so I should be working on getting that, but my problem is I don't know if that's going to be that helpful for me yet. So
my town's not very healthy for the environment. You got some parks at least. I'm just building blooming office buildings.
All right, this is a terrible plan, I think, but
here's
what I'll do. So I'm just going to place my house right here on that spot. That's going to give me this tile, and then I'll get to take an immediate action. Sorry, I need to score first. So I get 1 for this, and then 1 for different colors around that, which I only have 1. And so that's only going to be 2 points.
So it's 1 for each unique neighbor, and
correct.
Those are not unique.
Nope. One of them is.
One of them is. That is true.
How do you, what's the joke? How do you sneak up on a, I should have butchered the joke.
I literally have no
idea
idea
what
you're talking about.
That's not right. I'm going to look up this joke and I'll figure it out at the end of it's a good one. You sneak up on it is the punchline.
You sneak up on it?
You sneak up on it?
Wow.
So now that you know
am
the
not
punchline
intrigued
and not the actual joke. All right. So what am I doing besides telling not jokes?
I think you just wasted 20 seconds of my life.
All right, so I did that. I get to take another turn, and that's exactly what I'll do. So I'm going to place a park right here because I have 2 parks. And I'll really place it there because I want to be able to take this tile. Yeah. That's going to give me 3.
Yep, so parks are going to score you depending on it. This is kind of cool that at least it has it up here. So when parks by itself, it's 1. When it's touching another, it's 3. And when it's touching 2 others, or if you have a group of 3, then it's 4. And that's it. And then you could start another park somewhere else.
That's right. And that's my turn.
Okay. Let's see what shows up here.
Oh, yikes.
Another. Okay. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to place a Subway. If I do that. See, I want to get that other Subway, but there's nothing. I mean, I guess I can go here and then do that. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I really want that bonus action. I've only gotten 1, but I'm going to place a Subway here, which will score me only 1 point because there's nothing diagonal to it. Just so I can hose Dean on his.
Although now you have
strategy.
as many as I do.
Now, one thing. Oh, here we go. We're going to rescore the shops. And guess what?
Nobody has a shop.
No one has a shop, so 0 points each. I do want to make mention, too, I don't want to forget this, that at the end of the game, it's unique in that we're going to score...
Unique up on it.
We're going to rescore one of our buildings, but it has to be one of the tiles that we have in our hands. So, like if I want to rescore my offices, I've got to come up with a way to have one office tile in my hand at the end of the game. I like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool rule.
That's a cool rule, yeah.
Ooh, more parks for me. Although, really, right now...
Oh, these dudes are shooting hoops.
Yeah.
Are you going to score on this next...
I will. I'm going to take this park. I don't really want to keep getting parks, but they just keep coming out, and John's just going to give them to me. So I will. I'm going to place that here, and that's going to be my 3rd park, which will give me 4 points, which is good. 4 points.
That's good.
4 points is a lot on a turn. And so I will take this tile so I can maybe start another park, potentially.
Alrighty. How much more do you want to play for Old Meepletown? Do you think this is good?
I think that's good. That's a good stopping
I think it's
point.
good. Yep, I'm with you there.
So let's get to talking about our
Art and components. All right, Meepletown. So before we talk about art and components, Dean had to pause the video to tell a joke.
How do you catch a unique rabbit?
You unique up on
unique
it.
up on it. How do you catch a tame rabbit?
The
tame way. It was worth it. It was so worth it.
Art and components, Dean. What do you think about the art and components?
The art is beautiful in this game, I think. I love how you have the colored buildings. Now, this is just aesthetically speaking right now. I love how you have the different, unique buildings. And, they're...
you were so proud of yourself for saying
colors.
that you couldn't figure out the rest.
So the unique buildings and the different colors. And I love how, you have this, pencil line drawing kind of beside it. I think that looks really cool. That's aesthetically speaking.
I agree before you say that. Yeah. I think the art, aesthetically speaking, is awesome on this game.
Yes.
So go ahead and
very beautiful.
Do your second thought, I guess.
However, there are some issues, I think, with how that actually plays out. One, some of the buildings, because they are so different. I think, these two tiles are the same. Gameplay speaking, they're both the red houses, but they look so different. I think, especially for a new player, that can be maybe a little confusing. Once you've played more, that might not be an issue.
And these two are very similar in color. And so I know that when I've played, especially even the first time I played, number one, a lot of people were going, okay, what is that? Is that a shop? Because shops have different unique colors up top, so that's how you kind of know. But even in that, you see this horse here. What is that? Is that purple or is that the bluish color? I mean, I have to go look that. I honestly don't even know. I don't know right now even because of that. I could only imagine if you were colorblind how difficult it would be to tell the difference between those colors. Now, with that being said, after a few plays through, I think you would easily know the difference in the buildings. I haven't, sure. Except for even that, I'd have to go look that up again because I think it is shops, but I'm not even sure.
I think that's right. Yeah.
So that's a negative.
Component speaking, the tiles are nice thick. If you've played Carcassonne, it's they're the same size, the same thickness. Components are fine. There's nothing to wow you, but it's very functional.
Yep.
Gameplay.
You want to start off, or you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, you're just starting off all day long.
Okay. So with the gameplay, it's hard for me not to compare this to Quadropolis because they're so similar. And I know that the way that you get tiles and play them are different, but it still has that same feel. And so for me, it's kind of a negative. Here's the thing: I love Quadropolis, but would I rather play this over Quadropolis? I don't think so. And so gameplay wise, I think it's a simple game. The gameplay is quick. You can play, we would have finished this game, I don't know, maybe 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned, but it ends on a 2-player game when 3 stacks are depleted.
Oh, right.
So
right.
We were almost done with 2. It could have ended even sooner than that.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes more. So it's a quick game. The scoring is it's simple, but I think it can be kind of tricky too. I've played this several times, and I still have to look back. I do
sometimes.
The offices, and then okay, how do the shops work again? How do the houses work again? I get the idea, but it's going to take a few times to play before you get it, and you're still like me. I've played a few times, or several times, but I still have to go back and look every once in a while.
Yeah, so here are my positives on gameplay. The first thing I like is I really enjoy how when you place a tile down, you look at the symbol and you draw from that place, because that leads to a lot of interesting decisions. Like I think I mentioned in the gameplay, I may want to place over here or on one of these green spots, but it doesn't give me the tile that I want next. Or, so that's interesting to have to think about those. Or I may want to place one here because it's going to score me more points right now, but then again, it's not the tile that I want, but I'm going to take it anyways. Or I really want a tile here, so I'm just going to play something just to get that tile. I like that. I like the way you get that bonus action on the greens.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's cool. Because as I said it again, as I mentioned earlier, you can get another action, or you could double score, and that can actually be a lot of points, especially as the game progresses, to double score. And then lastly, I like how the game ends, how you have to have one of those tiles in your hand. So if I wanted to rescore the offices, I wouldn't be able to at the end of this game because I don't have offices.
Right.
So there's a push your luck element, where I'm holding this office in my hand going, should I play it to score more points now, or do I just want to make sure that I get to double score it, or I get to rescore, not double score it, rescore it at the end of the game, because offices rescore a little differently than they were originally. You get 2 points per office. So you're kind of mathematically thinking through that in your head. I like how those rescore too. And then lastly, I do want to mention this because we did not talk about this.
All right.
Once over the course of the game, we're able to spend this token, and it allows us, it acts similarly to this, where I can do another action, or I can score twice, but also I can make it trigger one of these scores if there's at least one tile up here. So if that was happening and I was like, oh man, I had my whole strategy built around another subway coming out, and this thing wasn't, it was getting to the end of the game, I could literally just use this to trigger that. So that's a thoughtful decision as you're playing. When do I use this? How do I take most advantage of that? But I also will say, as Dean mentioned, the game didn't wow me with the gameplay as well. Like, it was smooth, it was cool, there's some interesting decisions that I'm making over the course of the game, but it wasn't like, yeah, I gotta play this game all the time, because there's a lot of similar games.
That's right. Well, you've already started in your final rating. Why don't you go ahead and jump into that?
I didn't know that I'd started on my final rating, but
you were
I was sliding in there.
All right.
So I mean, just what I said. Like, it's got mechanically got some pretty cool things, some cool things going on, but this. I also like, I will say this, I like how short it is. It's 30 minutes. So I want to make that mention. So I'm trying to think of, when we rate these games, we like to rate it based on the BGG scale, which is asking questions like, how often do you want to play it? And that's why I mentioned the 30 minutes, because I would play it because it is a quick game. It is fairly simple to teach.
Yeah.
I would think, I mean, don't you think so?
Yeah, I think so. There are some tricky pieces of scoring, but that's it, pretty much. And like the way the tiles look.
But the challenge is, I think there's other games that kind of scratch the itch for me. And I think, Dean, I'm going to actually toss it to you. And I think that would be, I'll give my rating first. But I'll toss it over to you because I know that was one of your things with it.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. I would not want to play this above Quadropolis. Like, I cannot think of a situation where I would want to. And I might be wrong, but I feel like this game was heavily influenced by Quadropolis. It feels that way anyway. Now, the way you get the tiles is different, but the way that the different tiles score is pretty similar. There's a lot of similarities there. So for me, I love Quadropolis, but this one I just wouldn't play over that. I also, like, Suburbia is another one. I would rather play Suburbia than this. So for me, it's a good game. I don't dislike it.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I'm just not going to play it very often. So because of that, it gets a 6 for me. One that I just, if John said, hey, let's play Bloomtown, I said, yeah, I'll play.
I mean, I had fun.
But I might say, can we play Quadropolis instead? I might say that. So that's just me, but I give it a 6.
Yeah, I totally understand what Dean's saying there. I like it a little bit better than what Dean likes it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. It is a game I think that I will be pulling out if I want to play a fairly quick game, something that's simple to teach, something that also gives, like, there are some games that are easy to teach that don't scratch the old noodle very much. You know what I mean? Like, but this one does, so I like that about it as well. So, yeah, I think I'll play it sometimes, but it's not going to be something that I'm, like, super hype about playing or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's a decent game, 6.5 out of 10.
6.5 and a 6 for me. Tell people how they can get in touch with us.
All right, so if you're enjoying our videos, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel. Even click on that little bell notification so that you can be notified when we come out with new videos. We're also on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. All of those are at Meepletown Games. We are Board Game Guild 3407, and we have not a YouTube. Dang it, that was almost perfect. Like, I was flowing. And we have a podcast if you want to look us up on iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher or Spotify or any of that stuff.
That's exactly right. Thanks for coming down to Meepletown.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Meepletown Games, and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild number 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.